5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Basically, what I'm talking about here today, how many of you have been to Burning Man? How many of you have heard of the Flaming Lotus Girls? We do fire art. This last year, we did this piece that it ran the gambit. We put everything but the kitchen sink in there. And I was trying to put in sound for the first time. And this is more or less how I did it. Or tried to do it. It didn't actually succeed until Wednesday, and that was too late. So the idea is to have interactive sound streams. What we had is a bunch of different pods, and I'll show you later. Interactive sound streams throughout the piece that people would interact with, and it would change depending on different parameters. Okay, here's a picture of the piece being built. You can see different pods. Each pod was meant to have its own soundscape. Okay, the constraints, this is huge. 97 by 60 foot layout here. Getting independent sounds on each one of these pods was probably the biggest challenge. Cost, we're starving artists. We don't have a lot of money to throw around. And we had a lot of ideas thrown at us, and not one of them was feasible because, you know, everything's so expensive when you start talking about this stuff. Running cabling, we wound up having our pod central right about here. And so we had to run cabling from here all the way around that way and all the way down that way. The longest run was right around 210 feet. And then we had to have it survive the damage that everything incurs on the fly. It's a caustic environment, and it has the tendency to erode electrical connections. So we had to have something that was a little bit more resilient than average. Okay, so the idea that came up with was voice over IP. You can buy off-the-shelf equipment, and you have your encoders and your decoders already set up. You have a standard protocol. You have a standard interface for different encoding schemes. Everything is available off the shelf. The only thing is you need to come up with how you're going to control it. The idea was to have a normal sound. The piece is just kind of making this ambient sound, and then as you approached, the sound would change, and each pod would have its own unique sound when you approached it. So what we did to build this system, we got a cheap server running Asterisk, a PoE switch to send out power to everything, and the Cisco phones, because they're cheap, well, relatively cheap. They're really readily available and used. That was important. We don't buy new equipment. We can take them apart. They're pretty durable. And then the last step was something we kind of threw together at the last minute because people dropped the ball. But motion detector sensors, so that we could have them interact and have them respond to people. Okay, call control hardware. Basically, we ripped apart the telephone units. That was kind of fun, tearing all the plastic off. And mounted them inside the boxes. Here you can kind of see, get this turned around, right about there, there's a silver box. And we put all our communications stuff, or all our electronics in there. And there are some holes you can kind of see there. So that's where we mounted the phone. And then we ran cables out. We soldered the motion detector directly to the board. these ones aren't manufactured so that you can plug stuff into them, so we actually soldered onto the traces that you make the connections when you punch the buttons on the phone. So, oh God. Okay, okay, and I'm almost done. And so that's what it looked like, but without sound. So.
So great.